and welcome to another episode of the Wadhwani Viewpoint podcast. My name is Manali Shah, and today's conversation is going to be all about startups. Joining us is Shivjeet Ghatge, the co-founder and CEO of the hugely successful app StepSetGo. And when I say hugely successful, I mean it. The AI-enabled fitness app has seen over 10 million downloads across India. The app features a unique rewards-based system that motivates the users to continue working towards their fitness goals. StepSetGo has seen a lot of success in not just tier 1 cities, but tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. And you have advertising experience of about 10 years. So how was your marketing strategy different, or rather, how was your go-to-market strategy different for different locations, specifically the tier 2 and tier 3 cities?
So this answer is going to come off as a little boring because at the end of the day, what we did was we relied on complete and utter viral and user referral growth for StepSetGo to expand to the way it did, right? Or get the kind of traction it the way it did. And essentially, marketing and just marketing in general can be made a lot easier if you're solving a problem, because then people that are using your application become your brand ambassadors, right? And they are the ones that spread the message. And StepSetGo took full advantage of that, right? Because when we made the application, we knew we were solving a problem. We knew that people wanted this solution, even though that solution wasn't there. But whoever we spoke to, there used to be a sense of disbelief first that this is actually happening, and then it used to be like, I'm already doing this. I might as well use StepSetGo while I do this, right? And then the social element came in, and we kept a big focus on social because we knew the growth was going to come from that. So when it comes to the go-to-market strategy, we didn't have a strategy for tier 2 and tier 3. It completely spilled over from the tier 1 cities that we were going and introducing our apps to, right? And these people were championing and becoming our brand ambassadors for the next level, right? Now, when people relatively know about the application and this thing, the cost-effective ways to go about it is to understand which users for us. Because for us, the growth comes from users. And growth coefficient has generally been very high. When I talk about growth coefficient, it means that if I get a user, how likely is he to invite other users to the platform, right? So for us, that has always been high. And what we are trying to do, what we now do, and luckily because we've had so much organic growth, we can do is understand the psyche of the users that are using the application, who are the ones that invite the most amount of people, categorize them into one compartment and target those kind of users. So just lookalike audiences in different cities and different districts is what we do, and we push this thing to them. Sometimes we even go as far as, if you find one or two people that are getting interested, we actually go through the effort. Our product team actually calls them and asks them what is this thing, why are they spreading the application, what do they like about it, and we take insights from that and we put that into the messaging when we're trying to talk to those audiences, right? So that is so obviously because you're targeting more, the cost is higher, but again, if your growth coefficient is high, then it's worth it, right? Essentially.
Right. And did you face any challenges while trying to penetrate the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and if so, how did you overcome them?
So the challenges that StepSetGo faced is not from a place of identifying users and pushing this app to that user. The challenges came when users tried to understand the application who weren't really, so they downloaded the application. How do the steps turn into coins? How do I earn more coins? How do I earn more coins every day? Like, what are the different ways? What are all the features in the application? Because our application suddenly started growing in features as we started expanding, right? So what we had to take a step back is to try, because we were anyway penetrating tier 2 cities. The point was we were seeing uninstalls in tier 2 cities because they weren't understanding the application as well and as fast, right? So we had to actually tone down the user journey for new users and not show our features, and basically introduce them to features a little later. So what we started off is we put more, we looked at the onboarding flow in a more nuanced manner, right? We gave them very, very easy tasks to this thing. Now we have things called onboarding tasks. It gives you a lot of coins, but it tells you how each and every function of StepSetGo works. So that also has become gamified for people to earn more coins. They have to go through this, but now you get a full introduction to the application over time, right? So we solved problems that were inside the application for that audience more than trying to figure out how to reach that audience, because we already had access to that audience.
Right. Okay. Okay. And how should new founders or startups approach the media landscape in these locations to get the most bang for their buck?
So there are a lot of different hacky ways that you can do it. Depends on the industry that you're in, right? Even I have gone and stood with placards in my hometown saying that this is the app that I've started, come download it, right? So there are ways to do it depending on what your budgets are. But if so, and the solution that I'm going to talk about, cost this thing is going to be more on the lines of larger companies, because if you want to look at the media landscape, you're not going to be a startup that's done a seed round and going to tier 2 cities and spending. The best way is to optimize your ads on your programmatic ads and look at your CAC and reduce that as much as possible, right? You're not going to have anything that you need to do from a hacky standpoint in tier 2 and tier 3 cities is going to require feet on ground, which startups can't do. Essentially, unless you have a team that kind of goes there and does rounds and tries to pick up and then puts growth coefficients there, right, where you tell people this thing. PhonePe and this thing have spent a lot of money trying to penetrate those because they have feet on ground. So when it comes to hacky ways, try and figure out how the one user that you got in the tier 2 or tier 3 city becomes that brand ambassador in this thing. Create a incentivized model for them if you have to, where you are constantly rewarding them for introducing your application or your product to more people, right? Find champions in your user base, plant those champions in those cities, and then do whatever you want to keep those champions happy, because that is your growth, right? That is what I would do. That is how I would go about at least trying to penetrate tier 2 cities with limited budgets.
Right. And what about traditional media like out-of-home advertising or print ads, even radio for that matter?
You won't have the money for that if you're a startup.
Okay. So you would not recommend it.
Okay. I would recommend it if you can. See, the problem with non-digital media is that it's hard to tell you exactly what return you got on your spends, right? You could, but historically it's harder than something that you can track from the start to finish, right? Some products just need it, right? But usually, even if I take radio spots in a tier 2 city, it doesn't come cheap. You need to have a marketing budget of over 10 lakhs, right? To even have enough this thing. You're not just going to do it on one day. You're going to take a monthly this thing. You're going to take spots. Those spots have different weights, right? So I wouldn't recommend the conventional channels at all unless you've raised money or you're immensely profitable and you know exactly how much your CAC costs. So then you can always back calculate if you can do it or you can't do it.